Radha Prabhu there? I'm not able to see his name. Is there no class today by Radha Prabhu? I don't know. Oh, he's there. Okay. He's there. I didn't notice. Okay. I'm sorry.
हरे कृष्ण ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. Hare Krishna. Just give me 2 seconds. I'm sharing the screen. So we were discussing yesterday that 5 levels of consciousness. I just wanted to add one important point to it.
Here, one important thing is that there are different layers of in our body also. First is the gross body, which we are seeing. And then we have the next layer that is at the level of prana. So the prana wave which connects, which flows through the body. So that is the second level. And then the third level is manomaya. It's an emotional state that is much more subtler. And then its vijnanamaya is actually at the level of buddhi and the soul level. So gross body we have, and there is a second layer within our body which is prana layer. And the third layer is the emotional layer, which is at the level of manas. And the last Hare Krishna. I'm sorry, actually, there was some internet issues. I was telling that how we are, how different layers of existence. So first layer is Annamaya, the gross body. Pranamaya is where the prana flows. And then that is actually the connecting element. So when a person dies, we say is prana left. That means what left is the connection is gone. So that is actually what happens. The prana's connection with the gross body is gone. That's why we leave the gross body and we have to go to another body. So that the prana enters into another body. That prana is the connecting element between the gross body and the subtle body, which connects, which has all these nadis and everything. And then within this subtle body, there are two levels. One is at the level of manas. I like, I don't like, I like, I don't like. So we should not work at the level of I like, I don't like. We should work at the level of buddhi, where you are discriminating. We work at the level of our shastras. Even I like, I don't like, whatever is right, I will do it. That is actually Vijnanamaya stage we reach. And then because we are doing like that, performing dharma and all, then there is a possibility of going to the Anandamaya stage at the level of soul. So that's how the progress happens, right? So I was actually yesterday discussing how this things happens. And whatever, at least for us now, we are Madhyamadikari stage we want to reach means we have to be at the level of Vijnanamaya stage. We should not just live at the level of Manas. I like, I don't like, I like, I don't like. So this is actually very first stage. We have to reach a higher level. We cannot just get stuck at that level. That is the point. And then we will see the next thing. The perfect knowledge can be achieved by a person who is already engaged in devotional service with faith, steadiness, and full detachment, and who is always absorbed in thoughts of the Supreme. He is aloof from material association. So here, what is important is faith. This is then faith, service with faith, and steadiness, and full detachment. वासुदेव भगवती भक्ति योग जनयति आसु वैराग्यम ज्ञानम च अदहैतुकम. So his detachment is there, knowledge is also coming. So who is always absorbed in the thought of Supreme Lord. And then he says the atheistic uh, mys- mystic practitioners of yoga cannot understand this perfect knowledge. So these people, they are stuck up at the Vijnanamaya stage. So they may reach Anandamaya, but within that also they may reach at the level of say that I am Brahman, but they will not able to reach the Supreme Brahman. The only persons who engage in the practical activities of devotional service in full Krishna conscious can become absorbed in full samadhi. So this full samadhi is what? Full samadhi is when ego is zero. Sorry. Ego is zero. So that is actually full samadhi. This is what happens at this stage is we discussed yesterday also. Mind has this two levels. What is that? The consciousness is actually, according to Bhagavatam, it is Shantatvam, it is stable, and it is peaceful. Stable and peaceful. So this stability and peacefulness actually gives happiness. This is actually real happiness. So now to be stable and peaceful, we need to have ego should be removed. That is actually the stage of samadhi. So this samadhi stage is when we work on giving up our egoistic mentality. And this is the full-fledged what we all have to work and achieve this. And that happens only when, very important, when we devotional service in full Krishna consciousness and actually absorption also. So for us, we are working. Why bhakti is very powerful? Because there are three main functions of the soul. And one is to act, one is to gain knowledge, and another is to experience bliss or devotional part. So when it has the ability to act, that's why we have karma yoga. Because the soul has ability to act. And then there is action is karma yoga. And because knowledge part is there, that's why jnana yoga. And then there is part of bliss. That is bhakti. So here these two parts, they are they deal with our action and knowledge part. That means they are dealing with our mind, manas, and buddhi. But here, this is actually bhakti deals with ego. That means I already accept that I am servant of Lord and I start working. That's why this process is very, very fast and very powerful compared to karma and jnana. These parts are they're time taking process. Bhakti yoga is the fastest because we are directly hitting the root cause of our problem. What is the root cause of our problem? Is ego. What happens is, like say now my body has to function, I need certain ego. The liver, kidney, and all the parts of the body, they work as one unit. Why they work as one unit? Because they see that this is the connection of ego. My kidney says, "No, I will do it myself." No, it won't work. Kidney should identify itself with the body. So when the consciousness goes into it, then it starts identifying. Okay, then they all function together. And that is because of ego. Actually, everything which Lord created is has a purpose. He didn't create without any purpose. There is a good purpose for it, and the purpose is to make it function nicely. Only problem is we misuse it. That's where the problem comes. But properly it is given. Ego is needed for the function of body. My hand is moving, particular way because ego is there. That's why it is acting. Based on what I am talking, hand is moving. How it is? Because of ego only. There is a coordination. But what happens is this ego also does some problems. What is the problem? It is starts identifying with the body. So we have the subjective ability of perception with the objective ability to perceive. So this is actually what is ego definition according to Patanjali Muni. We are using the instrument to gain something, but we start identifying the instrument only. This mind, intelligence, and senses are my instruments to perceive this world. The soul is perceiving this world using the instrument of mind and senses. Now, instead of understanding that they are instruments, I start thinking that I am the instruments. That is, that connection between the instrument and the soul is actually ego. That is why we need to work on that ego, telling that, okay, whatever you are, but you are servant of Krishna. And so here, my dear respected mother, I have already described the path of understanding the absolute truth by which one can come to the understanding of real truth of matter and spirit and their relationships. Now, what is understanding? We are understanding the real truth. What is the truth? That is relationships. This is the truth. We have to get the relationship between matter, spirit, and the Supreme Lord. ज्ञानयोगश्च मन्निष्ठो निर्गुणो भक्तिलक्षण द्वयोरपि एक एवार्थो भगवच्चद्ध लक्षण. Philosophical research culminates in understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead. After achieving this understanding, when one becomes free from the material modes of nature, he attains the stage of devotional service, either by devotional service directly or by philosophical research. One has to find the same destination, which is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So ultimately, he's telling that Bahunam Janmanamante culminates in understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead. After the philosophical research, they have to end up there only. So either by devotional service or by philosophical research, one has to understand the same destination. But the problem is very difficult with philosophical research because the klesho adhikatarastesha. We'll see what Prabhupada says here. It is said in Bhagavad Gita, after many, many lives, Bahunam Janmanamante. So, and if by philosophical research one cannot come to the point of understanding the supreme person, then his task is not finished. So he continues like this. And then, whereas the opportunity for direct touch with the Supreme Personality of Godhead is given in Bhagavad Gita, where it is also said that those who take to other process, namely the process of philosophical speculation, mystic yoga, have much trouble. Klesho adhikatarastesham. So Prabhupada is quoting the terms to Bhavanam Janmante Klesho adhikatarastesham. So one can achieve the results of wise philosophical speculation simply by discharging devotional service. That's all. And then he says Brahmano hi pratishtaham. Yatendriya pratak parair artho bahugunashayah eko nane yate tadvad Bhagavan Shastravartmabhi. A single object is appreciated differently by different senses due to its having different qualities. Similarly, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is one, but according to different scriptural injunction, he appeared to be different. So this is a very nice logical explanation. Object is one only. We have mango juice, but appreciated differently by different senses due to its having different qualities. So you take mango juice, somebody will like color also, somebody will like smell also, and somebody like taste also. So three different appreciation for mango juice. So it looks so beautiful. It smells so so the fragrance is so soothing or whatever. And then you have the taste. So three senses, and sometimes if it is cold, then you like the touch also. You dip the finger and you feel nice feeling also. So that means so many senses, a single object, but differently it is perceived. Say somebody is going into a nice scenic place. So somebody like the scene there. Somebody like the fragrant smell that is coming from there, and somebody will like the cool breeze that is touching their skin, and somebody will like the sound of the birds in that area. So same one place, but differently it is. Similarly, the Supreme Personality of God is one, but according to different scriptural injunctions, he appeared to be different. That is actually speciality of the Lord. You, based on how I am, that's how the Lord appears. And that is the wonder. Now we'll see what proposes. It appears that by following the path of jnana or empirical philosophical speculation, one reaches the impersonal Brahman, whereas by executing devotional service in Krishna consciousness, one enriches his faith in and devotion to the personality of Godhead. So you go with the jnana part, you will see the impersonal Brahman. You go with yoga part, you will see the Paramatma form of the Lord. If you go with bhakti, you will see the personality of God. So that's the example is given of the hill. No, you are seeing from a distance, and then that is what Prabhupada gives. So he says one has to learn from authority that the sight of a cloud is not actually a cloud but a hill. If one makes a little more progress, then instead of a cloud, he sees the hill and something green. So like that he goes further. And he gives the example of milk also. When we see milk, we see it is white. When we taste, it appears milk in very palatable. When we touch milk, it appears very cold. And when we smell, it appears to be very good fragrance. So, and when we hear, we understand it's called milk. So the word milk also is pleasing. So in that way, Prabhupada is covering all five senses. The word milk is pleasing, to look it is pleasing, to taste it is pleasing, smell it is pleasing, to touch is also pleasing. So perceiving milk with different senses, we say that it is something white, something very delicious, something aromatic, and so on. Actually, it is milk. Similarly, those who are trying to find the Supreme Personality of Godhead by mental speculation may approach the bodily effulgence or impersonal Brahman, and the yogis progress and localize Paramatma, and devotees they see the personality of Godhead. And devotees are the most fortunate. That's because they are getting the highest understanding. Bhaktyamam abhijanati. That's what Krishna tells also. And then by following various scriptural paths, one may come to the impersonal effulgence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Effulgence, yeah. So this is what Prabhupada is trying to tell. And then Prabhupada also quotes from Prabodhanand Saraswati, therefore says that Kaivalya, the Brahman pleasure, is undoubtedly very great and it is appreciated by many philosophers. But to a devotee, we have who has understood how to derive pleasure from executing devotional service with the Lord. This unlimited Brahman appears to be hellish. Kaivalyam narakayate. For them, it is hellish. And then the process is about how the Ambarish Maharaj followed. क्रियया कृतिभिस्ध्यानैस्तप्तस्वाध्यायया मर्षण आत्मेन्द्रियज्ञेयापि संन्यासेन च कर्मणां योगेन विविधाङ्गेन भक्तियोगेन चैव हि धर्मेणोभयचिह्नेन यत्प्रवृत्तिनिवृत्तिमान् आत्मा तत्त्वभेदेन वैराग्येन दृढेन च नियते भगवन् येभिः सगुणो निर्गुणस्वदृक्. By performing fruitive activities and sacrifices, by distributing charity, by performing austerities, by studying various literatures, by conducting philosophical search, by controlling the mind, by subduing the senses, by accepting the renounced order of life, and by performing the prescribed duties of one's social order, by performing the different divisions of yoga practice, by performing devotional service, and by exhibiting the process of devotional service containing the symptoms of both attachment and detachment, by understanding the science of self realization, by developing a strong sense of detachment, one who is expert in understanding the different process of self realization realizes the Supreme Personality of Godhead as he is represented in the material world as well as in transcendence. So, such a big list is given. So, what they are doing, he is performing fruitive activities and sacrifices, distributing charity, very important thing. Any occasion, actually, first thing we should do when we get a salary is give Lakshmi to Krishna, either to temple or Vaishnavas. That is the first thing we should do. First part of our income should go to service of the Lord directly, either directly to the service of the Lord to deities and temple or Brahmana Vaishnavas. That's how we should work. And any good occasion comes, like today's festival, or we have birthdays, marriage, any important occasions, first thing is charity. We should plan charity. Any occasion, even it may be 100 rupees, no, whatever, even small amount, but it should be given. That is how, for especially for Grahastha, given 100 rupees, but they should give. First thing they should do, okay, today is a good day. What should be done? Charity. That's how our consciousness will be safe. We will know that this is my responsibility. And actually, this is austerity for Grihastha. There is no separate austerity. But still, there can be austerities also. Waking up morning and hearing other things. But important charity is even small amount. If now Kumbh Mela is coming, okay, what should be done? ISKCON is distributing another. So let me give some donation for another. Like that. So any occasion, then first thing is to how should I assist them in that service? Like that. By studying various literature, for us no need of various, we have Bhagavatam sufficient. And by conducting philosophical search, by controlling mind, every day we chant and control our mind, subduing senses, only prasadam, and by accepting the renounced order of life and by performing prescribed duties of one's social order and by performing different divisions of yoga practice, by performing devotional service, by exhibiting so all these things uh, and containing the symptoms of both attachment and detachment, by understanding science of self-relation, what should happen? He realizing the realize of the Supreme Lord as he is represented in the material world as in the transcendence. as well as in the trance. So he will understand the Lord in this world and he will understand the Lord who is beyond. Both realizations he will get. We will try to understand from Prabhupada now. Prabhupada has very big purport. As it is stated in the previous verse, one has to follow the principles of scriptures. There are different prescribed duties for persons in different social and spiritual orders. Here it is stated that performance of fruitive activities and sacrifices and distribution charity are activities meant for persons who are in household order of society. So these are things, what are things for them? Fruitive activities, sacrifices, distribution of charity are activities meant for persons in household order. So till here only. The four orders. Yeah. Similarly, here for Grihastha's householder, performance of sacrifice, distribution of charity, and actions according to prescribed duties are especially recommended. Similarly, austerity, study of Vedic literature, philosophical search for Vanaprasthas. So it is that means Grihasthas and Grihasthas who want to enter into Vanaprastha, they have to perform some austerity, study the scriptures, do some philosophy. And this is actually very important. And then for brahmachari, study of Vedic literature from bona fide spiritual master is meant for brahmachari or students. Only one thing, brahmachari is he has to study. He is a student. And what is the difference is grahastha and vanprastha is grahastha will be at the level of manomaya. Brahmachari is at vijnanamaya. And vanaprastha is also vijnanamaya. So this is for vanaprastha and brahmachari. They are at the level of vijnanamaya. That's why if he reach vijnanamaya, grahastha reaches vijnanamaya, he will become a vanaprastha. And then brahmachari, he want to remain brahmachari, he should be at the level of vijnana. Manomaya means emotional level. He is a relationship and I like, I don't like, so that stage. Yes, Gail Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Mataji.
Yeah. Can you explain why these ashrams are mapped to these, Vijnanamoya and Manomoya like that?
Yeah. Actually, I was telling that what happens is when you are at the level of Manomaya, you go with I like, I don't like. It's an emotional state. And then you have relationships, and that is makes so much importance for us. And we are so much concerned with the relationships, and we are so much concerned with the pleasures which we get in the relationships and all these pleasures. So that's why they are at the level of mind. All the pleasures we get experience because of mind. I like, I don't like is at one. But Vijnanamaya is at the level of buddhi. You will not do what you like, what you don't like. You do because it is right. That means you are going according to the scripture because scripture said I'll do. So then here theoretical knowledge is there. Here is a realized knowledge is there. Knowledge will be in both cases. In both cases, they will have the same knowledge, like we are reading scriptures. They may have same knowledge. But when it comes to Vijnanamaya stage, he is at the level of Buddhi. So this is at the level of Manas and this is at the level of Buddhi. So then what happens is at the level of Manas, we are quite emotional. Even though we may know it, but we'll not be able to act. Like so many times it happens. I know I'm not supposed to do it, but still I do it. Why? Because I am emotional. I am not supposed to eat certain food, but when it comes, I say, no, I like this sweet. I over it. That means I am not able to use my buddhi. I am at the level of manas only. Even though I know, we are not able to do. So this state of consciousness is manomaya. Whereas vijnanamaya is you have realized and I have transcended. Like you say, okay, I know I should not eat sweet at this time, I will not eat it. So for him, he is able to do it because he has overcome that level. So that is the main difference. He has realized it, not just theoretical knowledge. And
Okay,
when he realizes, then he can take vanaprastha happily.
Okay, so what I'm thinking, the reason why I have the question is because, I mean, are there not grihastas who are not emotional, and are there not brahmacharis who are emotional?
No, it's not question of emotion. It's a question of how you act. I may be
No, that's what
emotional.
I mean. No, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. I'm using those words the way you were using them.
What I meant in emotion is it is the action is based on that. Say if somebody is in trouble, I feel sad. But that does not mean I am acting like say I am like telling in the
No,
context of action, not in terms of
me
feelings.
too. No, me too, Prabhu. That's what I say. I'm using it the way you were using it, in terms of action, not in terms of like emotions, you know. I'm using it the way you were using it, in terms of action. So
So I will
yeah,
explain.
so I'm saying, isn't isn't it common for brahmacharis to also, not act according to what is, according to intelligence sometimes? And isn't it possible that many grihastas, they will act according to intelligence, according to what is right instead of what they feel like, you know? I mean, I don't understand why this thing is like mapped to ashrams like this. Because
No. I'll explain. I'll try to. No. What I am trying to tell is that if somebody want to remain a brahmachari whole life, he has to go to level of sannyas directly from brahmachari. Then when we come, we are all at same level only. Like everybody is in emotional state, we go with I like, I don't like. But if
yeah.
he want to continue, means he want to become a Naishtiki brahmachari and he want to transcend, he want to take sannyas at that level, then
Uh-huh.
he has to come to this level of Vijnanamaya. It is
Yes.
not that the brahmacharis who are there are at Vijnanamaya stage. I am not telling that. I am
Oh.
telling you have to go to that level. Then you have to be at the level of Vijnanamaya. And Grahastha, if he want to go to Vanaprastha, then he has to come to level of Vijnanamaya. Not that I am telling whoever is brahmacharis, they are all Vijnanamaya stage. It's not like
Oh.
that.
Oh, that's how it sounded.
No.
Okay.
I'm sorry. What I meant is you have to come to this level. Brahmachari means he should be at Vijnanam. Means he will not be able to maintain otherwise. He means he is not at that standard. He is just continuing something. But it's not that he has to come to the real good standard. That means he should be Vijnanamaya because he cannot remain in that state of I like, I don't like. And same thing with Grihastha also. Slowly, he has to come to that Vijnanamaya stage. We all have to come to Vijnanamaya stage if you want to go to Anandamaya stage.
Uh-huh.
And if I want to remain, by Shastra we have to do, okay, you like, you don't like, does not matter. You have to be at Vijnanamaya. You have to reach that level, that to maintain it. You have to become a sannyasi means Vijnanamaya, like that.
Oh, okay. Very happy for this clarification, because that's how it was sounding at
No.
first.
I'm sorry. I am telling we all enter into same. We are all in Manomaya stage. Or I think I am lower also. I am Pranamaya only. I'm just interested in my own eating and my own things. Most of the people when very grossly now presently the modern civilization is at the level of Pranamaya and Manomaya at the best. And we have to come to the Shastra. This is where is called Vijnanamaya is what we call as Shastra Shraddha. Our Shraddha is in the Shastras. We do according to Shastra what they tell. That is actually what follow the principles of Shastra scripture. So this is actually very important stage.
Okay,
So
Prabhu, can I just, since I'm here, can I just go back to, remember when you said that we have to have two things: stability and peacefulness,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And those two things, you said, what did you say those two things were necessary in order for us to what?
No. What I was telling is these are the qualities. Consciousness has two things.
Yeah, Peace,
Consciousness, stability, and peace. Now, what happens? This ego will make us unstable and it removes our peace. The stability, sorry, here actually stability I means concentration. So it concentration and stability both. What happens is we will not be able to concentrate and we will not be able to be at stable, which are actually the qualities of consciousness. Consciousness depend like it is very stable and it is very focused. But when ego comes, we will not be able to focus, we are not stable also. We are like disturbed. Like say somebody comes and tells, no, Prabhuji, you give such a stupid class. Immediately what? It disturbs. My stability is lost. Why? The ego na will makes it move. Arey, how can you say like that? How can you say whole day am I thinking like that? So I lost my stability and I cannot concentrate also anything. I'm just thinking of how can you say that no, I'm stupid. So why it is affecting? Because the ego is connected. Ego is identifying myself as something. Ego said you are an intelligent fellow, and suddenly ego got hurt. You say, na? That means what you identified and what you thought, what people thought about is different. If they question our action, if they question our intent, if they say some word to us, immediately we lose both the things.
Yeah, okay. So, before you continue, I just needed the reason why I brought this up was because I didn't have clear idea of these two words, stability and peace. When we talk about stability, what does that mean? When we talk about peace, what does that mean? And besides that, you're saying that both peace and stability are natural, inherent qualities of the pure consciousness, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So when we say that the consciousness is naturally in a state of peace, to me
Yeah.
that meant there's no hankering lamentation for the soul.
Yeah.
But is that what you mean by peace?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay,
Sthita
and then
Prajna.
huh?
Yeah, I just use Sanskrit word Sthita Prajna. He's just a peaceful person.
Oh, sthita pragya. Okay, and then when we say the consciousness is naturally stable, what do we mean? That is naturally unagitated.
Yeah.
But
In its original state is unagitated and it is focused.
focused on serving Krishna.
Or
Or
it focus on its own self. Like if somebody is impersonal,
huh?
they're just focus like it's focus on themselves. Like if they are impersonal liberation in the Brahman state, they're focused. They're just on themselves, on the soul.
But yeah, but the natural state.
Yeah, serving Krishna. Yeah.
All right.
Focused
So
on Krishna.
yeah, focused on Krishna. That's the
Actually,
most.
it has an ability to focus. I'll explain. It has an ability to focus. But what happens now? I am not able to focus on something very stable. I am focusing on something temporary. So that's why it's always moving. But if I can focus on Krishna, because Krishna is permanent, so then I am fixed. That's why consciousness is able to hold something which should be fixed. So holy name, Krishna, things related to Krishna, which is actually stable, which is actually what we should make focused on. If we focus on material things, then we remain unstable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because material things, they are fleeting. For
Yeah,
that reason.
yeah,
Okay, Buddha. Thank you.
yeah. And I'm sorry for that brahmachari vanaprastha thing.
No problem. As long as we're clear now. I mean, I wasn't offended, I just didn't understand.
I, I meant that they should come to that stage. That's why I
Yeah.
Vanaprastha and brahmachari means they should be at that stage of Vijnana. Otherwise, then he has to enter into Grihastha and then he has to come to Vanaprastha stage. He has to realize that knowledge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Buddha.
Right. So here the word Bhakti Yoga, Bhakti Yogena Chaiva is meant hear me that whatever is to be performed as described in the verse 34, whether yoga or sacrifice or fruitive activity or study of Vedic literature or philosophical research or acceptance of the renounced order of life is to be executed in Bhakti Yoga. So the word Chaiva, he according to the Sanskrit grammar, indicate that one must perform all these activities mixed with devotional service. Otherwise, such activities will not produce any fruit. Any prescribed activities must be performed for the sake of Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Yat karosha dasnasi. So we have to do according to what Lord wants. And very clearly propose unless one add devotional service to all the activities, he cannot achieve the desired results. But when bhakti is prominent in every activity, then the ultimate goal is sure. So this is always very clear. Every activity, devotional service is must. One has to approach the Supreme Personality of Krishna as it is stated in Bhagavad Gita. After many, many births, one approaches the Supreme Personality. So this is Bahunam Janmante. And then Bhoktaram Akyatapasam. So Lord is the only enjoyer. The word Dharme no Bhaya Chinnena means that Bhakti Yoga process contains two symptoms, namely attachment for the Supreme Lord and detachment from all material affinities. There are two symptoms of advancement in process of devotional service, just as there are two processes taking place while eating. Hungry man feels strength and satisfaction from eating. At the same time, he gradually becomes detached from eating anymore. So both things happen. We are tushti and pushti. You are satisfied, feel strength and detachment. Similarly, uh, while executing devotional service, real knowledge develops and one becomes detached. Vasudeva Bhagati, Bhakti Yoga Prajanati also Vairagyam Jnanam. The knowledge and detachment. In no other activity but devotional service, there is such detachment from matter and attachment for Supreme. So there are 9 different processes for achieving that. One can achieve elevation to higher planet systems like the heavenly kingdom by executing one's prescribed duties and by performing sacrifices. So if you want to go to heaven, when one is transcendental to such desires because of accepting the renounced order of life, he can understand the Brahman feature of the Supreme. So if he gives up the desire to go to heaven, he can understand Brahman. And when he is able to see his real constitutional position, he sees all other processes and becomes situated in the stage of pure devotional service. Then he will attain Bhagavan. So understanding the Supreme Person is called Atma Tattva Avabhodhena, which means understanding of one's real constitutional position. That is, I am servant of Lord. Everyone engage in some sort of service. If one does not know one's constitutional position, one engages in the service of his personal gross body or his family, society, or country. So we need to know what is my Atma Tattva Avabhodhena. I should know who am I. That is again ego. As long as that's why Bhakti Yoga directly works with ego, direct identification, right? As long as one is in the mode of material nature and is performing the duties prescribed in the scriptures, he can be elevated to higher planetary systems. So, but we don't want to go to higher planetary system. Yanti Deva Vrata, but we want to go Yanti Madhyadi Nobhiman. If we worship Supreme Lord, we end up with him. And the next is, my dear mother, I have explained to you the process of devotional service and its identity in 4 different divisions. I have explained to you as well how eternal time is chasing the living entities, although it is imperceptible to them. And this is Lord Kapila is summarizing. Lord Kapila is summarizing the importance of the process of devotional service, Bhakti Yoga, as described. And this is there are varieties of material existence for living entities according to the work he performs in ignorance or forgetfulness of his real identity. My dear mother, if anyone enters into the forgetfulness, he is unable to understand where his movement will end. So, this forgetfulness is what? Is false ego. A performing ignorance. So, because I identify myself wrongly, I'm acting wrongly. Say, if suddenly I think I'm a woman, I start acting like a woman. That is also, there is a problem, right? So, this is actually what is happening to all living entities. They enter into forgetfulness, unable to understand where his movements will end. They are all forgetful. So, once one enter into the continuation of material existence, it is very difficult to get out. Urdhvamulam ashwattam prahuram chandamsi yasya varnani yasvam vedana. So this they come into this very very complex banyan tree. Therefore, the Supreme Personality of God comes himself to send or sends his bona fide representative, and he leaves behind scriptures like uh, Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, so that the living entity hovering the darkness of nuisance may take advantage of the instructions, the saintly persons, and the spiritual master, and thus be free. So that is the method, that is Lord is coming himself, sending his devotees, sending scriptures to help. Unless the living entity receives the mercy of the saintly person, the spiritual master Krishna, it is not possible for him to get out of the darkness of material existence. And then Lord Kapila continued, the instruction is not meant for envious, for the agnostic or persons who are unclean in their behavior, nor it is for hypocrites or for persons who are proud of material existence. So, naitat kahlayo padishne navinitya karhichit na shabdhyad na bhinnaya naiva dharma vajayacha. So this is not for envious. If we think I and mine, then there is envy. There is agnostics or persons who are unclean. Unclean in terms of not only in their behavior. Behavior is unclean because mind is unclean. And they are hypocrites and who are proud of material position. So none of them will understand. We may not have completely, but some degree we have, that degree we will not understand. So slowly we have to come out of that behavior. And it is not to be instructed to persons who are too greedy and too attached to family life, not to persons who are non-devotees and who are envious of the devotees and the personality of God. Now here, we think, then nobody is left only in this world to preach. Who are too greedy, too attached to family life, and who are non-devotees, then who can we give this knowledge? We'll see what Prabhupada says, that persons who are always planning to do harm to other living entities are not eligible to understand Krishna consciousness, cannot enter to the realm of transcendental service to the Lord. But Jagai Mother are delivered. Also, there are so-called disciples who become submissive to spiritual master most artificially. So that means they are hypocrites with an ulterior motive. They also cannot understand what Krishna consciousness is or devotee. Persons who, due to being initiated by another sect of religious faith, do not find devotional service as a common platform for approaching the Supreme Personality of God, also cannot understand Krishna consciousness. We have experienced, so Prabhupada is giving his personal experience. We have experienced that some students come to join us, but because of being biased to some particular type of faith, they leave our camp and become lost in the wilderness. Actually, Krishna consciousness is not a sectarian religious faith. It is a teaching process for understanding the Supreme Lord and our relationship with Him. Anyone can join this movement and without prejudice. That is prayer conception. But unfortunately, there are persons who feel differently. It is better, therefore, not to instruct the science of Krishna consciousness to such people. So Prabhupada is giving different. He is telling people who are already initiated in other places, who have certain prejudice, who are already have some faith in other things. For such people, Prabhupada is telling no need. And and they are having ulterior motives. So Prabhupada is adding ulterior motives initiated in other, and they come here, but because they live because they lack some, because being biased in some particular faith. This is second category. And they feel it is sectarian religion. That is another problem. But it is not sectarian. And then prejudice. So generally, materialistic persons are after some name, fame, and material gain. So if someone takes to Krishna conscious for these reasons, he will never be able to understand this philosophy. So if you come to Krishna conscious to gain name, fun, material gain, then will not be able. Such persons take to religious principles as a social decoration. They admit themselves into some cultural institution for the sake of name only, especially in this age. Such persons also cannot understand the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. Even if one is not greedy for material possessions but is too attached to family life, he also cannot understand Krishna consciousness. Superficially, that means we can take to Krishna consciousness, but if we want to progress, then we have to give up all these things. It is not a disqualification. Anybody can take to Krishna consciousness, but very important is he cannot understand Krishna consciousness and make any progress. Such persons are specifically such persons are not very greedy for material positions, but they are too attached to family, children, and family improvement. When person is not contaminated by the above mentioned faults, yet at the ultimate issue is not interested in service of Supreme Personality Godhead, or if he is a non-devotee, he cannot understand the philosophy. So all these things are actually very important shloka. You have to see where I am stuck in all this list which is given by Lord Kapila and Prabhupada, where I am stuck, and we can work on them slowly, and we can come out. Instruction should be given to faithful devotees who is respectful to the spiritual master, non-envious, friendly to all kinds of living entities, and eager to render service with faith and sincerity. The instructions given, the instruction should be imparted by the spiritual master to person who have taken the Supreme Personality of Godhead to be more dear than anything, who are non-envious of anyone, who is perfectly cleansed, and who have developed detachment for that which is outside the purview of Krishna consciousness. So we have one last sloka. And anyone who once meditated upon me with faith and attached affection, who hears and chants about me, surely goes back home, back to Godhead. We'll just read this purport one and we'll end. In the beginning, no one can be elevated to the highest stage of devotional service. So this is very important. Here, bhakti means one who does not hesitate to accept the reformatory process for becoming a bhakta. That means we should be ready to take the, we should ready to uh, for a change, changing ourselves. Reformatory process, what we are reforming? Reforming our spiritual body, reforming our mind. So I am ready to change myself. Then only I can enter. So in order to become a devotee of Lord, one has to accept a spiritual master, inquire from him how to progress, to serve a devotee, to chant the holy name according to certain continuing method, to worship the deity, and hear Bhagavatam. So these five processes Prabhupada explaining. And then he says, one must be prepared to offer necessary respect and honor to the spiritual master. One should not be unnecessarily envious of his god brothers. Rather, if god brother is more enlightened and advanced in Krishna conscious, one should accept him as almost equal to spiritual master. So Prabhupada is telling why we should give up that envy mentality if I want to progress. A devotee should always be very kind to the general public in instructing Krishna consciousness, because that is the only solution for getting out of the clutches of Maya. That is really humanitarian work, for it is a way to show mercy to other people who need it very badly. So not only is he detached from activities which are not connected to Krishna, consciousness, but he should be internally averse to the material way of life. Such a person must be non-envious and should think of the welfare of all living entities, not only of the human beings, but living entities other than human beings. So we should take care of other living entities also. And in the word Dhyayatam means the knowledge of Krishna consciousness should be offered by the spiritual master. The spiritual master must not accept disciple who is not qualified. Here qualification in the sense he is willing to change himself. That is a qualification. He should not be professional and should not accept disciple for monetary gains. Bona fide spiritual master must not see the bona fide qualities of person whom he is going to initiate. Must see actually. And an unworthy person should not be initiated. Very clear. So these instructions are for preachers and spiritual masters. So these are the two verses. In these two verses, the qualities of devotees are fully explained. One who has actually developed all these qualities listed in these verses is already elevated to the post of a devotee. If one has not developed all these qualities, he still has to fulfill these conditions in order to become a perfect devotee. So this is what Prabhupada is giving hope to all of us. Okay, we completed this chapter. We have one more chapter remaining. Thank you all very much. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्ण।